while doing Actoroki. This last week was a lot of fun. I got to DM an RPG on Actoroki with all of my friends from TableTakes, including you, Javion, and Bonsai, and Marcus, and Derek Gooder made a return to the TableTakes group. And so that was a lot of fun. Noir wasn't with us because he's not in Seattle. Sorry, it was an in-person stream.
I know. It's okay.
I know.
I'll make it one day.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, don't worry, Noir. We got No Nut November coming up right after this stream, and I'm sure you're very excited to play with us. For those of you who don't know, or maybe you're confused why I just said that on this stream, is because it's an RPG about squirrels looking for acorns and other things in the post-apocalypse. And it's called No Nut November, and it's going to be run by the wonderful Anita. We are so excited to keep playing.
So you're literally a squirrel trying to get a nut.
Exactly.
Nuts though.
Awesome.
Exactly.
That's nuts.
Awesome. Bonsai, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, this weekend, of course, I had a lot of fun seeing you all in person doing the Actoroki on Caldea Studios. It was a lot of fun. I think you guys should go ahead and watch either the VODs for that. I will say that Javion's character really was like a mother to me.
Yeah, truly.
Truly like a mother to me. So
I had so much fun with that.
Yeah, see Javion's process. It's just great. Yeah, I'm just getting everything ready in my house because I got friends coming over next week to come in. Holiday season starting hard. I'm gonna have like 6 months afterwards of back-to-back rotation of family and friends, because as the baby popping season for me comes closer and closer, more and more family want to see me before and after the baby comes. And also very exciting, I got myself a giant neon print gaming mat for my gaming table now. So it's a 4 by 3 foot table. So now I can have my games played on a very fancy table mat.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yes. Upgrading your board game table. Very cool. Noir, what about you? What have you been up to?
Last week I went to LA to hang out with some friends. That was cool. I did a
I'm
actual
glad you have
play.
friends. That's good to know.
Don't worry, Noir. Peter says that about everybody.
I paid the will. Yeah, so I went and did that. I was able to take part in the Kickstarter actual play for Kids on Bike Season 2 and Session 0, the system created by Gabe Hicks. So that was really
that's
cool.
so cool.
And then I saw Black Panther last night and cried a lot.
Oh, does that mean you liked it?
I have thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, out of 10, what would you rate it? How would you say?
Ooh.
Should I watch it? I feel like I want to now.
I give it a strong 7.
Nice.
But I have complaints.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well now I really want to see it.
What about you, Giovanni?
My week has been very similar to Bonsais and Theaters. Actoroki. I had fun playing Kelly. In our D&D game, it was fun. So I've been playing way too much Marvel Snap. I've been on my phone pretty much nonstop, just trying to collect all of the mystery cards, because you don't know what you're gonna get. So I have to just keep playing until I get them all. But I also really want to just build a deck filled with like my favorite characters. So I want Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I want Black Panther, and I want Deadpool all in the same deck. But I don't even know if Deadpool's out yet. So I guess we're all just kind of waiting for that moment where we get to like build our favorite decks together. So that's been pretty fun. But I just got in a huge I'm not even joking, huge package with Escape the Dark Sector and Escape the Dark Castle stuff that I kickstarted a couple years ago, actually. I paid the extra to get my face on a card for the Escape the Dark Castle version. And right now there's actually a Last of Us Kickstarter for Themeborn. If you want to play the Escape the Dark games, you can get pretty much everything plus the new Last of Us game as well. So it's not too late to check on that. So I'm very excited for that. I'm hopefully going to be able to play sometime soon. Even though the spooky season's over, I still like to play my dark game. But yeah, that's it for the check-ins. That's what we've been up to. Let's see what the board game industry's been up to. Let's see what Gen Con's been up to. Bonsai, tell us more.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you more. I don't know. It's that time of the year when you start to hear the cry of Mariah Carey go throughout the air. That it means that, hey, guess what? Who cares about Gobble Gobble Turkey Day when it's all about Christmas? We got a whole 2 months of Christmas season to come in, and winter is here. Especially if you're in Washington, we skipped fall and went straight into winter. It was summer, and then like we were like, oh hey, how long is summer gonna last? And then it went to like winter when everything is about 40 degrees now, and it's great. But if you want to go ahead and get warm and cozy and planning for your gifts this year, Gen Con's winter collection is out now. It's available for purchase at rollacrit.com. That's ROLLACRIT.com. You could go ahead and look. It's perfect for folks who have a budget between $17 to $45. And there's a lot of great stuff. I think each of us have something that we want to point out. Me, I'm all about the gelatinous cube in the shape of a punt cake or a bunt cake. Is it punt? Punt. No, punt is kicking. Bunt is the cake.
Yes.
Well, what about you, Javion?
Well, as you can see, I'm wearing my polo today. I don't know if you guys knew this about me. I'm a polo guy. That only started this year because I started a new job where I have to wear like business casual. So now I'm very excited about the Gen Con Roller Crit polo. It's embroidered with Genevieve on it, and I can wear it at work. I can be nerdy and I can be business casual. How about that? Best of both worlds.
Peter?
Well, you mentioned how cold it is, Bonsai. I agree. It is freezing. And I've been wearing a lot of sweaters and sweatshirts lately. So I'm very interested in the Gen Con Genevieve holiday sweatshirt. Now, if you think sweatshirts should be ugly, and you would not be alone, this is not that. This is black. It's very stylish. It's got Genevieve surrounded by all sorts of cool dice graphics and snowflakes. And there's a t-shirt version of this, a print, if you like. But, if you really think that holiday sweaters should be red and bright and annoying to some, but loved by others, they still have some of last year's holiday sweatshirt in stock. So, go shopping for sweatshirts.
So festive.
Very festive. Noir, what is your favorite picks?
Ooh, listen, the first Gen Con shirt I ever got was the green gelatinous cube shirt with, and I've loved it ever since. And now they have a Gen Con Jello mold t-shirt.
That's the bunt cake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Two votes for the bunt cake. Two votes
so
for the bunt cake.
I either want that or the gelatinous cube pillow, because I'm a pillow guy. I like being comfy.
All right. Yeah, no, that's really great. So, hey, so far, if you're listening marketing, the gelatinous mold bunt cake, whatever, it's a Jello cube. It shakes. That's what's winning. Also, hey, would be great rompers too. Just a hint, cough, cough, if anybody's wondering.
You got two instant buyers right here.
Yeah. Just saying. I'm just saying. As a community here at Gen Con, we should sign a petition for rompers and or onesies as well. That would also be appreciated. Just saying. Not saying that we should start a movement. We should start a movement. But yes, that's all we're looking for in the winter collection, folks.
Yes, I hope you all are very excited for the holiday season. It's sure to be very regal. But speaking of regal things, some more shameless self-promotion. We've got a bit of an announcement to make. More of like a congratulations to formerly Feral Games. Congratulations, Sarah Moore and Damon Vanhee. Your Kickstarter was successful. Wow.
Woo!
Wow. 153% funded for your very awesome TTRPG that you guys have worked so hard on. We talked about this a little bit on stream, and we even had a little bit of live play that we got to see some of Sarah Moore running a game of the Crowned RPG. And for some of you maybe don't know, the Crowned RPG is all about being a god. You take on the role of deities and you are, well, it's a very narrative driven game. You're stepping into the mantle of godhood. You're sort of creating worlds, but you're also manipulating them. You have what's called a purview. It's like what you're the god of. So you might be like the god of I don't know, Cheez-Its or like fun snacks or something like that. Or you might be like me, probably the god of gaming, the god of board games and all forms of merriment and whimsy. Or you can, just go like god of volcanoes. That's cool. God of volcanoes, pretty bad, but I don't want to say the other word. Pretty cool. But you can be the god of anything that you want to be, and you play with other people, and you learn how to create these really intricate worlds together. The art design is amazing, and you get so much content in it. If you weren't able to jump onto the Kickstarter before it ended, don't worry. You can sign up for the newsletter. Formerly feralgames.com is the splash page where you can sign up and get information about when it will become available. Quick shout out to Tanel. Love it. We love you so much. And wow, did you do such a great job on the art for this game. I don't know. I don't know if any of y'all have had a chance to actually watch any of the live streams or like the live plays of this RPG. But I mean, listening to Sarah and Damon talk about their games in the interview that we had them at a couple weeks ago, I was just so excited about the passion that they put into all of it and the huge unlocks that they got. I mean, they unlocked the Shining Garden Tourism Guide after they hit the $20,000 mark, which is amazing. We're so happy for you guys. Well
That's
done.
awesome.
Well
Yay.
done.
Yay! Big round of applause.
Yeah, I got to play. I loved the game. I had a great time.
What did you think?
I thought it was great. I got to be the god of conspicuousness or inconspicuousness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you can go a lot of different directions with that. So you picked one that's more like a conceptual godhood, and you can just interpret it in so many different ways.
Yeah. I kind of created an artist, like an Andy Warhol type character who's actually not that good at art, but he could make it really conspicuous.
That's really cool. That's so cool.
Would like it and not quite understand why.
I hear that we were going to be getting a little bit more of the Crowned RPG live play content coming to Gen Con TV once again in December. So I hope you guys are all excited for that. But speaking of RPG content that's coming out very soon, we have an announcement for something that's completely different.
Yes.
Bonsai?
Oh, hear ye, coming this Tuesday, November 15th at 6 p.m. Specific time. Join myself, Javion, and Noir and Marcus for a very, very special live play of extremely official licensed Monty Python tabletop role-playing game. So remember, hey, let's go ahead and tune in, especially if you ever want to figure out how a north flying swallow carries 2 coconuts, or is it a south flying swallow? Or, if there's knights that say me, if you want to start an argument for no reason, it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun time. Remember to tune in on Tuesday at 6 p.m. To get an exclusive look of this Monty Python curricular medieval and reenactment program. Lots of words in there. And get your questions answered by the writer, Brian Silaba. If you guys have lots of questions, he is very immersed in the lore that is Monty Python. And I think it's going to be a smashing good time. And we will probably not have fake British accents. I'm really sure. I feel like we would insult our UK viewers if we ever try to.
You cannot stop me from putting on a fake British accent. There's no way I'm giving up this opportunity.
Go for
African or European. It's very hard.
See, I'm gonna go for an English accent, but it's probably end up somewhere between Jamaican and Irish.
Yes, that'd be perfect. I'm sure they've got plenty of room for creativity in whatever voice you want to use, Noir. Have you actually watched a lot of Monty Python? I know for me, the most prominent image in my mind is the Holy Grail. And I remember being sat down to watch it in middle school by my teacher, who was so obsessed with it at the time.
It used to come on when I was younger, on the public access channels. So I have I'm aware of a lot of it, but I haven't like sat down to watch it, which I'm going to before this, so I don't embarrass myself.
Of course.
But I have not, like, you know, of course I know like the parrot, it's a cease to be skit, which is like one of my favorites, but that's about it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have a limited amount, but the amount that I do know of is the most popular stuff. So I think I'll be okay. What about you, Bonsai?
I have too much knowledge about Monty Python, also some background knowledge, especially about the wizard named Tim and all the lore behind that. I don't know how I started watching it. I think it's just because I'm the child of the internet. And of course, I got into role-playing games. And if you're into role-playing games, when the internet first came out, everyone's like, oh, you got to watch this YouTube link, blah, blah, blah. Well, when YouTube came around after Newgrounds, all that's just name dropping all these horrible old sites. Anywho, so
Well,
yeah, I basically, yeah. Life of Brian, I watched a lot of the sketches as well. Great British humor, you know.
Good. Well, Bonsai, we will be looking to you. I'm sure Marcus has plenty of experience as well. We'll be looking to you and Marcus to educate us and get us immersed in this new world. Now, for our next headline, we have another new world from a very popular, familiar set of RPGs that Peter's going to tell us about.
That's right, Javion. Paizo has revealed High Helm, a new book for the Pathfinder Lost Omens setting. High Helm will be available for pre-order in June 2023 and will retail for $44.99. This news was brought to our attention by Jeffrey Dom Sanchez of ICV2. By the way, thank you, Jeffrey. The mightiest of the Dwarven keeps, High Helm, awaits Pathfinder players. This sky citadel lies deep in the Five Kings Mountains and is one of the centers for Dwarven culture. High Helm describes High Helm in its everyday life of the city, Dwarven culture, and the clans that influence the sky citadel. This book also comes with a full gazetteer of the city's layers and surroundings, and a poster map that details High Helm's layers. This wondrous tome will also feature new character options, new equipment, ancestry feats, animal companions, and more. In related news, Paizo announced it will also release the Pathfinder Kingmaker Adventure Path 2nd Edition, a new hardcover compilation that will contain all 6 chapters of the original Kingmaker, updated with hundreds of pages of new content for 2E. This book features new rules for building and running kingdoms, settlements, and armies, as well as narrative-based rules for resolving mass combat. In addition, the book has 11 new alchemical items and spells and 16 new monsters to challenge your heroes. This book will retail for $99.99.
Ooh, wow. That's a lot for one supplement. I guess they have a lot of content in it.
It's hundreds of pages. It's a big book. I mean, it's a big book.
Like
it's
improvised weapon big?
Yeah. Improvised weapon big, for sure. Make sure you have a sturdy coffee table to put it on.
I've heard people talk about Kingmaker all the time when I played Pathfinder, but I never really got to play it. I didn't realize it was something that needed to get rebooted in order for me to actually get introduced to it, because I definitely didn't play Kingmaker back when it was made the first time. So this is cool.
I don't think this has anything to do with the Kingmaker board game, if that's what you're thinking of. I think it was the Kingmaker Adventure Path. I think it's a campaign, basically.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the original Kingmaker for Pathfinder, yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah,
you were on the right track. I was just worried for you, Javion.
Thank you, Peter.
But I should not have.
Thank you very much, Peter. Well, I'm so glad we survived, or I did, through that announcement. But let's see if you all at home can survive this new game. This article brought to us by Alex Meehan of Dicebreaker is all about a new role-playing game from Cassie Mothwin's itch.io page. It's called I Survived the Sticker Game. It's a sticker game. It's a solo RPG game. It's based off of, or it's inspired by, the very surreal, humorous worlds of Portal 2 and the Stanley Parable. For those who may not be very familiar, the cake is a lie. And as far as the Stanley Parable goes, Stanley is a guy. He works at an office, and you play through like a video game where he sort of just like walks. You play as him. You walk around, and you basically are just trying to figure out why this world is so weird. Where did everybody go? It's sort of a mystery game, but it's very, very funny. So apparently, the sticker game is going to have a lot of these elements to it. It's a very weird game. Solo RPGs tend to be that way. You're journaling to yourself, basically, while also going around your house and trying to find stickers, real stickers, like actual stickers that might be tucked away in your drawers or kept in the garage in one of the boxes you haven't used in a while. And through finding these stickers and placing them into the journal that you're using, along with assisted gameplay from audio clips that you're going to be playing in the background as well, you're going to be making new discoveries about other realities. Every time you put a sticker down, you're transported to a new world, and you've got to come up with some cool stories, some sci-fi content that wraps it all together in a neat little journal. You might liken this kind of thing to Everything Everywhere All at Once, with all of the crossovers and alternate realities, or Marvel's multiverse in all of the different ways that people can be conceptualized, and like parallel universes and things like that. It's going to be a weird RPG for sure. It's going to be very interesting at the very least, and it's going to be one of Cassie Mothwin's games. If you're not familiar with her content, please check out her itch.io page. Or sorry, I keep saying that because that's how I want to say it, but I think it's just itch.io. I'm sure there's a huge debate about
it. Itch.io.
There is a huge debate about that. Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'm glad I'm not
like
the
GIF
only one.
And GIF.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
There should be a debate about that, though.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I looked a little bit through Cassie Mothwin's catalog of games, and these are really cool. I would definitely check out Clean Spirits if you haven't already. It's a game for 3 to 5 players, where it's basically an RPG game with no GM. So it's more of like a story game about cleaning up your room, and also the spirits that haunt the room, and also your own spirit, trying to find spiritual enlightenment through cleaning a room. That seems like a very cool premise, much like I Survived the Sticker game looks to be. So I'm very interested to see more about this. Solo RPGs are always fascinating. Do you all have any experience with solo RPGs? There's so many that came out this year.
Yes. I like a lot of solo RPGs, especially if they're done right. There's also an extreme version of solo RPG, which is meditative RPGs that you don't even write down, and you just have prompts and you go through the adventure in your head. It's helping you but yeah, just thinking of the sticker game, with especially if it's Stanley Parable, which is I equate Stanley Parable to like the nicer version of the Back Room. If you ever understand the lore of the Back Room, that's a whole rabbit hole to go into. But yes, I suggest, especially I got into them when pandemic happened, because, everyone's Jeremy. So you couldn't really play with anybody. So solo is great for that.
Absolutely. And if y'all want to experience a little bit more solo RPGs, Sarah Moore is actually going to be playing one on Sarah's table right after TableTakes game night tonight. At 5 p.m., she's going to be playing the solo RPG, The Gentleman's Bandit. We're all very excited to see what comes of that. So let's move on to our next headline. Noir, why don't you tell us some more about some cool D&D minis that are coming out?
Oh, I would be more than happy to. So, WizKids reveals 2 more D&D Idols of the Realm 2D miniature sets. Quick thank you to Jeffrey Dom Sanchez for putting together this article. So WizKids revealed Beholder Hive and Lich Tomb, 2 more D&D Idols of the Realm 2D miniature sets for release into retail in March 2023. These 2 sets follow up on the announcement of the Reptile Den and Snake Den, which are also headed to market in March 2023. Beholder Hive helps Dungeon Masters flesh out a Beholder lair with a Gazer, a Spectator, 7 Orcs, an Orc War Chief, 2 Quaggoths, a Nothic, a Minotaur, and of course, a Beholder. The Lich Tomb is set set is inspired by the Tomb of Horrors and the Tomb of Annihilation from D&D lore. It comes with 4 skeletons, 3 zombies, a skull lord, 2 whites, a tomb guardian, a giant 4-armed gargoyle, a beholder zombie, and a lich. So go ahead and check those out in the links in the chat. I think they're pretty cool. It's a nice way to have visualization and a cheaper way to bring battle maps to the table, having all of this created for you. I don't know. I guess, I feel like if I'm going to have a game at the table, I'm a miniature guy myself. But this is pretty cool. I love that we're creating more options and trying to make this space as accessible as possible. And you get to make your players fight a lich. So, good times all the way around.
Yes, I'm sure they're very excited about that. I've never actually played through the entirety of Tomb of Annihilation. I played through a little bit of it. It's supposed to be very like gothic horror, very like, deep, dark, grim D&D. And this whole set, I mean, you don't have to just use this stuff with that with that module if you don't want to, obviously. It's great for any DM because, I mean, you're going to be using wights, wraiths, skeletons, zombies. You're going to use this stuff pretty much all the time if you're a DM, right? Well, this is a very cool looking set. We're always happy to see new miniatures coming out, and definitely check out the link in Twitch chat if you want to check it out for yourself. So let's move on to some more beautiful things. We've got a Netflix series spinoff coming soon to a board game store near you. Bonsai, tell us more.
Hey, a big shout out to Chase Carter from Dice Breakers with this article. If you guys haven't, if you're into a dystopian society where the future is throw away the organic and engage in the robotic, this might be the game for you. Cyberpunk, if you guys weren't aware, Netflix recently, like within the year, released this show called Cyberpunk Edge Runner from Trigger Studios. It was based in the world of Cyberpunk 2077. Basically, it's a really great series. I will caveat, great series if you're into cyberpunk, if you're into like transhumanism. I will say it's not as good as Ghost in the Shell, but it's still a very good anime series that I haven't seen in a very long time. So praise be for that. But yes, if you're into that, the Cyberpunk Edge Running Mission Kit is a new box set for Cyberpunk Red game engine. R. Tasselrin, sorry if I get this name wrong, Talsolrian, said on Monday with the news release that it will, of course, the release date hasn't been specified or pricing was announced, but it will be taking place, this new, Starter Kick is going to be taking place in the year 2045. It will go help for the fans who are a fan of the show. It'll help guide these folks through Cyberpunk Red, with essential rules, as well as the lore from the Dark Future, Night City, and Edge Runner team, and more of this very vast, complicated, futuristic world. For existing players that are fans of Cyberpunk Red, it'll be a first glimpse into the new cyberware, firepower, and net running skills for the era of 2077. So if you are really into that series, you can get the Cyberpunk Red series that's already been released. You can get it off of Amazon. What is it called? All sources is about $30 if you want to pick it up. But yes, it's going to be great. So if you're into that, especially both into the anime series or just Cyberpunk in general, I would highly recommend to check this out. Anywhere you can. And hopefully as more details come in, we will give you more on what the release date and pricing is for the new beginner mission kit box.
I had no idea how popular this series was. I mean, I remember it sort of like as a blip on my radar earlier this year, but I mean, they're already doing an RPG starter kit. That's pretty cool. And you said you've been watching it for a little while. I'm sure you're very excited about this, right, Bonsai?
Oh, yes. I love like the whole transhumanism kind of category of games. I'm very hopeful future, but I know very dystopian is how we're probably going to go.
Yeah.
But I I just, human flesh is great, but if I could upgrade to better, I am all for that. So that's why I really just like these categories. I grew up with Ghost in the Shell being like one of the first few animes that was intro. By the way, if you're a child, please don't introduce your children to Ghost in the Shell as their first anime series. It's very, 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 very.
Nah, do it.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot to drink in, and then it will make you question your existence in life and what is the soul. And then you don't want to put that in a child at an early age. Just but it's great. It's still great.
Do any of y'all remember that story about a group of live streamers or let's players who were starting a D&D campaign, but they were recreating cyberpunk edge runners characters and co-opting the setting into it? It was D&D 5e, but cyberpunk edge runners. And everybody was just like, I don't know if you realize this.
But they already have one. It's already
There's a cyberpunk RPG. Well, maybe they'll see this.
Yeah,
maybe they'll see the starter kit and then they'll start using this instead. Well, good luck to them. We always like to see a variety of RPGs out there. But back to a more familiar one, I'm sure to everyone in chat right now. We have some Wizards of the Coast news coming straight from the blog of Chris Perkins. And also thank you to Christian Hoffer at comicbook.com for this article. So it seems that the ongoing process of creating inclusivity in not only RPGs in the gaming world, but also the construction, the industry itself, the publishing and writing of these games is an ongoing process for WotC. It was stated back when Spelljammer had first come out with their box set, Spelljammer Adventures in Space, that there were some very insensitive things that needed to be changed. I think WotC themselves corrected as much as they could and sent out new sets of these books or redactments and addendums for creatures and monsters and the lore for such characters in their books. Well, in a recent blog post written by Chris Perkins, they stated that there would be much more changes on the way, not just for Spelljammer, but for all of D&D Beyond, all of the Dungeons & Dragons design to going forward. Previously, there was one project lead who would, or maybe a project lead and some consultant assistants who were determining which parts of different products would be subject to an inclusion review. That's exactly how we ran into the issue of the Haddo Z in Spelljammer, which depicted very harmful real-world stereotypes. Well, now the new changes that are putting in place, amongst others, include all of the materials, every product, every word of every product being subject to cultural consultants. They're going to be bringing outside multiple outside cultural consultants prior to publication in order to review everything. And I just want to say, I think it is a very ongoing process, and I think that is the hallmark of a good company, good changes. We've seen people who post, small messages. We've seen people who say certain things or make one change that maybe you didn't even realize was a problem until it showed up. And then you just hear nothing else from them after that. Well, WotC is very completely different. I'll even quote the blog directly for this. Chris Perkins said, just as D&D is a living game that grows and changes as we learn, so too will our inclusion review process evolve and improve. And when you see somebody make one change, it's easy to just roll your eyes. When you see somebody post a message or something like Black Lives Matter or we're very sorry, it's easy to just write it off as, okay, a company, trying to cover themselves for something that they perceived as wrongdoing. Great first step. What's coming next? And we're seeing that a lot with WotC, with ongoing changes, constant reviews, and it's not just one thing. They're showing that it's something that's really important. So I would love to hear from you all. What responsibility do you think companies as big or smaller than WotC have when it comes to inclusivity in their design processes?
Well, I think I'm with you, Javion. I think this is great news. It's WotC leading by example, working with sensitivity consultants that have expertise in various cultures. That's great. Good for them to be doing that. And it's good to see WotC getting some good press on this front.
Bonsai?
Oh, yeah, no, I also agree that it's a great first step, but it's also just like a step in general of more of the process, even for these larger companies, that it's not just like go to other companies to get words and inclusivity, which should be maybe a sign that maybe from the ground up, maybe including these people already in your company versus like, at least that's my comment. It's great, but also I would just like to see this not be something that you have to outsource.
Yeah.
Just have them already in sourced.
Absolutely.
Just this is like a tea to that. But that's as the world progresses, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and hopefully we just as a society progress, and then these won't be issues anymore because we'll be more understanding as human beings. But we'll see.
Noir, what about you?
I'm very glad to hear it. I am more eager to see it in action.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to respond to what Bonsai said for a second, I agree. Having it be in-source would be the ideal. Absolutely. With enough money, with enough reach, you can get a lot of people into your company. But I think that's a hard thing to ask for smaller businesses who are running a lot of different treadmills all at the same time. So I'd say this is a nice compromise to see. I would say that instead of just having one person deciding what needs to be reviewed, what we have to have somebody look at and what's totally fine. No, just have all of it shown because we've already seen what can slip through the cracks and it's not okay. So I'm so glad to see that these things are going to be changing very soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else D&D has in store in the future. Speaking of which, Peter.
Well, yes, Wizards of the Coast is returning to Dragonlance with the release of Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen for $38.46 and a board game tie-in, Warriors of Krynn, available as a bundle with Shadow of the Dragon Queen and a Dungeon Master screen for $144.99. Both are releasing soon on December 6th and are available now for pre-order on Amazon. This news was brought to our attention by Christian Hoffer at comicbook.com. Okay, so Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen brings Dungeons & Dragons players back to Krynn, which, as you know, Javion, that is the home of the Dragonlance campaign setting. The campaign itself will follow players as they intercede in the early part of the War of the Lance, with the forces of Takhisis invading eastern Solamnia. Also included are several new player options, including Kinders, a race tied closely to Dragonlance, a new sorcerer subclass focusing on lunar magic, and several feats that allow players to join one of Krynn's iconic factions, like the Mages of High Sorcery or the Knights of Solamnia. However, Shadow of the Dragon Queen doesn't begin with the players already at war. During a press event held by Wizards of the Coast in October, lead designer Wesley Schneider explained that the adventure actually starts off at a small village called Vogler, with the party assembling to celebrate a mutual friend's birthday. The quaint village life is quickly threatened by rumors and threats of dragon-like creatures lurking in the hinterlands outside of Vogler, with the village being one of the first settlements in the paths of the dragon army. The players will be placed in charge of the defense of Vogler, holding off the dragon army so its residents can escape. While Shadow of the Dragon Queen will feature traditional Dungeons & Dragons tropes, such as exploring dungeons or encountering iconic D&D creatures, one key difference is that the players' activities will be shaded by the war going on in the background. Now, since Shadow of the Dragon Queen is an adventure focused on war, the players will eventually find themselves in major conflicts. To help guide players through those conflicts, there are new rules for mass conflicts, with players participating through more focused fights within the larger array of battles. Alternatively, and this gets interesting, Wizards of the Coast worked with Rob Daviau, yes, that Rob Daviau, and Stephen Baker to design a tabletop board game to depict the major conflicts of the new campaign so that players can focus on the larger conflicts of armies as well. The board game, Warriors of Krynn, can be played in conjunction with Shadow of the Dragon Queen, the RPG, with specific scenarios from Warriors of Krynn tied directly to the adventure. Players can drop in their D&D campaign characters into Warriors of Krynn to face off against vile champions of the Dragon Army, while the battle rages around them. Daviau noted that Warriors of Krynn wasn't a war game in a traditional sense, with players determining the position of armies, that sort of thing. Instead, players, as their characters, will attempt to put their finger on the scales to push the battle in their side's favor while trying to complete a specific mission. Read the article. We dropped a link in chat. It goes on to give a lot more details about the gameplay of the board game. I think this is really cool. First of all, kudos to WotC to going back to an amazing setting, one of the greatest D&D settings of all time, Dragonlance, written by some of the greatest authors of all time, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. And then to be innovative and bring a board game that links to, oh man, I don't know, I gotta say it, this sounds pretty cool. I'm tempted to get it.
It does look really cool. And a board game tie-in with a campaign, now that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I love the idea of like a book club style gameplay where we all play a board game, where we all play like a card game or something like that. And it ties directly into whatever D&D session comes next. Yeah. That's super exciting to me. Integrating different levels of play, different genres of play together is so cool.
Yeah.
And of course, more dragons. I mean, that's never a bad thing. Show of hands, who's actually played against or like fought with or just, engaged with a dragon in D&D?
How many hands do I have? Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. And I'm sure we all have like great stories about our encounters with dragons in D&D. But Dragon Army, now that's new. I have not seen it.
I punched the dragon straight in the face with my monkey. It was the greatest day of my life.
That's awesome. I crashed an airship into one, and that's how my character died. That was cool.
I just got super murdered by a dragon. I was just such a small character. It was like endless dungeon, and I went in the wrong room.
Oh no.
That's the end of the story. I went in the wrong room.
When I first started running D&D, the characters got to 5th level. I was a really new DM, and I threw a red dragon at them and killed the whole party, and then none of the players wanted to play anymore. I had to find totally new players.
Very cool of you, Peter. Very awesome. Thanks for doing that. Well, this wouldn't be TableTakes if we didn't talk about all of the D&D news, because there's so much of it. And we've got one more piece of D&D news for you. Noir, why don't you tell us what?
Oh, yes. I unfortunately have the burden to give you all some bad news. It appears that D&D has met their match, and their match is one Tom Cruise. That's right. Thank you to Christian Hoffer at comicbook.com for putting this together. The Dungeons & Dragons movie release date has moved. The D&D movie has been delayed again. It was originally delayed to not conflict with the new Mission Impossible movie, then twice during the pandemic. But just 1 month this time. It's March 3rd, 2023 release date has been delayed to March 31st. No notice on why this delay was announced, but I have theories. I believe that Tom Cruise is picking on Dungeons & Dragons, and nobody can prove otherwise. I think that he calls WotC every day and just tells him to move the movie back, or else.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You heard it here first.
Well, I don't know. I'm a big Mission Impossible fan. I'm glad they're taking their time with those movies because, I mean, I love
One
seeing.
of these days, you're gonna have to choose a side.
Oh.
Because this world is getting divided right down the middle. Are you Dungeons and Dragons? Are you Mission Impossible?
You know what? I think that's going to do
Choose
it
your
for our
set.
headlines today. Thank you so much to
Don't
all
you
of
run from
our
this choice.
hosts for bringing this news to our attention. Thank you to Christian Hoffer, Jeffrey Dom Sanchez, all of our favorite articles. Thank you so much. But we're going to lead right into everybody's favorite segment, Bonsai.
Ooh, bundle pass.
Yeah, Peter, take it away. All right, the bundle boss. Okay, so we have 2 bundles of holding to talk about today, both related to the classic science fiction tabletop role-playing game Traveler by Mark Miller. So this is from Mongoose, and the first bundle is the Traveler Explorations bundle. This is how you can start Traveler with everything you need, all in one bundle. You can, in Traveler, and this is science fiction, you can play desperate battles across the stars against evil empires. You can play free traders operating on both sides of the law, or play mercenary companies desperate to find their next ticket. For just $12.95, you get all 4 titles of the starter collection, as well as DRM-free ebooks, including Mongoose's complete Traveler Core rulebook, the sector source books Behind the Claw, and Sword Worlds. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $35.02, you'll level up and also get 8 more source books and adventures worth an additional $147, include Aliens of Charted Space, Volume 1 and Volume 2, the Sword Worlds campaign, Skandersvik 2, Spinward Subsector source books, the Bowman Arm, and the Lunian Shield Worlds. And some adventures, High and Dry, Mission to Mithril, and The Lost Duke. 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. Direct Relief sends protective gear and critical care medications to health workers with emergency deliveries to medical facilities across the U.S. and Canada, and to promote response agencies throughout the world. So click on the link. You also find out about the second Traveler bundle, The Great Rift. It can be found in the link. That's it for the bundle report today, Javion.
Well, that deal sounds out of this world. Thank you, Peter. Yeah. And we love Direct Relief. We love supporting Direct Relief any way we can, even if it means we get something in return. In this case, a whole lot of RPGs. All right, cool. Well, that's going to lead us right into our last segment of the show. It's dun dun. I'll figure out how to make that sound actually play. Dun, dun. Eventually, but it's Crowdfunder Court with our crowdfunding overlord. We've got the judge presiding, Noir Enigma.
That's right. We always talk about collecting heads, and we still have ours on our shoulders. So I want you to know it's my first time being the regent, so I'm not coming to mess around. So I'm gonna need y'all to present your best crowdfunders. Let's go.
All right, Peter.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I present today God's Forge. This is from Atlas Games. Atlas Games brings us God Forge. God's Forge, the fast-moving game of battling spellcasters. This crowdfunder has raised $20,000 and has 27 days to go on Kickstarter. This, of course, caught my attention as I'm a big fan of Atlas Games. God's Forge is a fast, simultaneous play, epic fantasy battle that plays in about 30 minutes. Your dice rolls are used strategically as you roll and re-roll, then mix and combine them to form craft creations and spells from your cards, cleverly deploying your dice lets you play your best cards. God's Forge is a dice game, so you roll dice and re-roll, and all the players do this simultaneously, so there's very little waiting around for other players. Combat is simple but strategic. You attack to your left and defend from your right, so the game goes quickly, even with more players, and kingmaking is inherently foiled. Each player's power rises dramatically throughout the game. End-game conditions mean play comes to a swift conclusion when a player dies, with a climactic ending every time.
Okay, I like it. We're gonna withhold judgment until I hear the rest.
I'll be honest. I didn't hear anything after dice game. That's all I heard. Is a dice game with cards? Okay, cool. I'm on.
All right, somebody's mighty confident. So let's hear what you got. Let's
All
your
right.
head fall from your shoulders.
Okay. Well, today, last week I didn't get to talk about this one because we were very short on time. We had an interview, we had all this cool stuff going on. But today, I'm just gonna talk about Cosmoctopus the way I really wanted to. Cosmoctopus is a tentacle gathering engine building board game for 1 to 4 devotees, and it comes to us from the designer of Parks. I actually got the chance to play that with Bonsai pretty recently, and there are so many similarities from that game to this one. It comes to us from Paper Fort Games, and Cosmoctopus is all about a cosmic octopus that you get to move around onto different tiles that are created onto the table as sort of the area of play. You move the octopus one space, very simple. You get all the rewards that are on it. Excellent. But you also want to take a look at all the cards that you have to either collect into your hand or that you have played or will be playing onto the field in order to get all of these victory points that you need in order to win. The engine building comes from over time collecting different benefits that you get every time you move the Cosmoctopus through the astral sea, and it has lots of like Cthulhian sort of Lovecraftian aspects to it, but it's also got a lot of silly aspects to it as well. You got the private investigator with all the tentacles behind it, but you also got fun tentacles. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I'm gonna collect all the tentacles and win the game. It's very exciting. It's very cool. It's very simple to play. It looks like it only plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. And you can play it solo. You can even play it cooperatively. And the board is actually modular. So if you've got like a bunch of different locations to play with, you can put it in a grid of 3x3, or you can turn it into a long path and you can only go forward or back on that path. You might get stuck at the end. You only have one option to take. So there's a lot of really cool card names like the Clockwork Hummingbird or the Eternal Offering, very, very inspired themes here. I really love it. I really think it's going to skyrocket. It's already fully backed 9 times its expected goal of $10,000. It's already almost up at 100K. You only got 3 days left to back it. So if you want to play an engine building game that looks really cool, if you want to, if you like the art on this kind of thing, definitely check out the link and see if you like it. It's also colorblind friendly. So definitely check it out and see if we can unlock more of the stretch goals, because I really want more of the Cosmoctopus. It's so cool. All right. Now, for my second Kickstarter, I've also got a game that I'm very passionate about because I already own it. And now there's an expansion for it. It's Role Player Adventures. We're not just getting a new expansion, we're also getting a reprint of the original legacy game. For those of you who might not be familiar with Role Player, it's not just one game. It's actually a series of games. They've got they've got the draw and draw or flip and write card game where you're drawing on a cartographer board as king cartographers. They've got Lockup, which is a game where you're trying to break out of a prison. And they've got the original game, Role Player, where you're building a character, and that's the whole game. Rolling dice, drafting items for your character, collecting gold, changing your alignment. All of it is building a character that you can use in D&D or in Role Player Adventures, which is a legacy game. A legacy game where you take the character that you made in that other board game and you put it in, and now you're actually playing a co-op game with all the characters everybody's created. And it's kind of like Gloomhaven. It's a dungeon crawler kind of. It's more of an exploration fantasy game where you have these campaign booklets and you're flipping through and you're hoping to get the best options or choose the right options, rolling some dice, manipulating some dice, fighting a bunch of monsters, encountering new NPCs and exploring distant worlds. And it's all fantasy related, and they've already sold out day one for the first printing. So that's why they're doing this reprint, so you can collect your own before it runs out and it's too late. It is a legacy game, which means it's a campaign style. You're playing over session after session. It's already got one expansion out, Nephra's Judgment, but this Kickstarter specifically is also offering the second expansion in the series, which I don't believe will be the last because it's so cool. Goldpax's Secret, which is offering new adventures, 7 stories of campaign. You get new titles, new rares, and discovery and enemy cards. You get the new professions system, which sees you actually using your day job as part of the bonuses that you get in game, as well as new party journal with story-specific faction tracks, and Gulpax's journal, which gains insight, gives you insight into the inventor's mysterious research with a fully illustrated journal. So much stuff, so many things to get excited about for this Kickstarter. How could you possibly give up the chance? You've only got 6 days left to go. It's going to be a pretty hefty investment, but you're going to get tons of content. I mean, the base game alone already has about 10 to 16 hours in just the legacy version of itself, but also more expansions to help you extend the game if you didn't get enough on your first playthrough. Definitely check it out if you are as excited about Gloomhaven, but you wanted more dice in it, or if you loved Hero Quest, but you wanted more variability and choices that you could make. I love role-player adventures.
All right, I've heard enough. I'm ready to render my verdict. I very much liked what I heard about God's Forge. It reminds me of having a forge because I am a god. Javion, you said tentacles like at least 32 times. That word makes me uncomfortable.
Oh no.
So you must lose your head.
No, wait. But Role-Player Adventures, isn't that a cool game that you would definitely play?
Oh, Role-Player Adventures did not cost you your life. Cosmo Octopus.
Just the undulating tentacles.
Just, you said it so many times. Each time I felt like I was getting hit with a tentacle. So,
well, shoot. Oh well. I
you
guess,
oversold the tentacles.
I guess me and my tentacle friends will just have to play Cosmo Octopus with that. Sorry to disappoint the Regent. That's gonna do it for Table Takes today. But don't forget, after every episode of Table Takes, there is a Table Takes game night wherein we play a different game. And this week we are led by none other than the amazing Anita, and we are going to be playing more of No Nut November. Continuing the story from last week, we are going to be diving into a compound looking for that nut. That all exclusive, that all-encompassing, the awe-inspiring nut that we have been searching for at least 3 hours so far. So,
gotta get that nut.
Yes. Join us for No Nut November coming up at 3:30 p.m. Also, don't forget at 5 p.m. we've got Sarah Moore playing Sarah's Table, and we're playing she's playing the solo RPG, The Gentleman Bandit. And of course, we've also got Dress to Quest coming on Sunday at 4 p.m. But wait, what other stuff can you look forward to throughout the week? Well, I'll tell you our entire streaming schedule. We've got board games with the Brothers Murph every Monday at 4 p.m. And on Tuesdays, also at 4 p.m., we've got Out of Character with Mark Tassin. And on Wednesdays, we've got Actoroki. Coming up this week, we've got the script read of the actors who are performing the story that we created actually only a couple days ago. It was me, Bonsai, Marcus Mays, our producer, and Derek the Goodermeister Gooder. And we all played through an adventure run in Chaldea, thanks to our lovely DM, Peter Atkinson. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see how the movie turns out. It's going to be chaotic, for sure. We've also got, on Thursdays at 10 a.m., Blood on the Clock Tower with our new host, Patrick Campbell. Join us and you can actually play with us Blood on the Clock Tower, a deduction and intrigue game. We also got on Thursdays, 4 p.m., we got Roll with Rem Alternus, and then you can just join us back here on Friday every week at 2 p.m. We've got TableTakes Game Night, and Sarah's Table every week. Thank you to all of the people who tuned in for this very special episode. I hope you're sticking around for the next TableTakes Game Night after this. And thank you to all of our lovely hosts. Peter, thank you so much for joining us once again. As always, Bonsai and Noir, I will see you in just a bit. And remember, for any of you out there who tuned in a little too late and missed all of the fun D&D news or missed the bundle where you can get excellent deals, don't worry. You can check out the VODs here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. And, well, maybe just follow us. That way you always get notifications when we're going live and you never forget. It's the best 4 days in gaming all year long. All right, folks, we'll see you in just 30 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.